That is the truth. The original essence is always there. You simply create a new form out of that. Give it a new name. Once you dissolve that form, the name also goes. Form and name come and go, but the essence behind it is permanent.
So it's practice, right? Sri Patanjali tells us anything you do in life, practice for a long time without a break and with all your heart. And good, I'm so glad you remember. And you will be successful. But you also, when you practice, you also have to do the other thing that he tells us, which is really huge: non-attachment. Don't be attached to the results of your actions, because we're so attached to the results that we actually don't do the action. What if I'm not good enough? What if I make a mistake? So what? I remember when Gurudev first asked me to teach, and he said to me, and I said, Gurudev, what if I do something wrong? What if I say something wrong? I really don't want to hurt anyone. He said, Nalanie, you don't want to hurt them? You won't. And if you do something wrong, then you'll soon learn. And who better than to be God's fool? And that's what I thought. If I do something wrong, then I'm God's fool. And then I'll soon learn. So there's nothing to be afraid of. It's better to be a fool when you do your best than to sit on the sidelines and never do anything at all. And always worry, what if? And if you're not good at it, you just don't do it anymore. You just stop. That's it. Do something else. Not meant for you. It's really quite simple if you make it simple in your mind. It's the fear. It's the expectation. The Raj Guna, right? Remember the Tamas, Sattva and Raja? Rajas, I'm doing it, so I want something in return. I want something in return. And the moment you do that, you face lots of obstacles. So do it with your heart, and if it works, it works, and if it doesn't work, not meant for you. Good luck. Bad luck. Who knows? So today we're going to start with chapter 8. So what is chapter 8 about? It's called the Yoga of the Absolute Truth, or Yoga of the Eternal Truth. Arjuna, who is the student, asks, what is Brahman, the Absolute? Brahman means God or Creator. What is the Supreme Self, Adhyatman? What is karma, Lord Krishna? What is this earthly realm, Adibhuta? And what is the kingdom of light, Adidaiva? These are all Sanskrit words for these kingdoms, right? So he's really asking what we all ask. What is this all about? What is karma all about? What is the higher self all about? What is this earth about? Tell me. I want to know what's all about. And he asks, what is the essence of self-sacrifice, adhyagnya? How does one make such an offering? And how is it possible to control the mind during physical death in order to stay conscious of your presence, my Lord? The Blessed Lord said, my highest nature is the imperishable Brahman that gives life to all beings and dwells in individuals as the Supreme Self. Adhyatman. My offering that causes all beings to come forth is karma. I'm going to say the next one, then explain it, all right? The perishable earth realm, Adibhuta, is the physical body. And Purusha is the realm of light, an object of all worship. I alone am the essence of sacrifice, Adhyagnya, present in your very own body, Arjuna. If you are thinking of me at the time of physical death, you will leave your body and come directly to me. There is no doubt about this. So here he's asking, what is Brahman? What is the creator? Who are we all about? And what about self-sacrifice? We all sacrifice, we talk about yajna, we talk about service for the world. What is it all about? And then Lord Krishna answers, guess what? I am the supreme self-sacrifice. From me, everything happens. I give of myself to everything, even to Brahma, the creator. So I am the essence of sacrifice, and because I am the essence of sacrifice, so are you. And that's why you give yourself to everything in life. Selfless service, no expectation, no disappointment, because no I, me, and mine. You become instruments. So you say, this is in you. This is what you are about, because I gave myself to you, so you can give yourself to everybody else, right? Or everything else. And he says, this is the perishable realm. This is the realm where we're all going to die. Death is imminent for all of us. This is where everything perishes. But don't worry, because Purusha, which is the highest self in us, the causal self, is the light in you. And I am that light in you, in your very own body, noble Arjuna. And if you think of me at the time of physical death, you will come directly to me. Now, Lord Krishna is not talking about himself as Krishna. We just have to use the word, and like Lord Jesus said, whoever believes in me will come to me, you're all my brothers and sisters. If you live like I live. It's just a way of talking, because how else are they going to talk about the consciousness? Here, he's really talking about understand where we come from. Everything else, even Brahman, the creator, is in this realm. I am beyond all this. I'm the substratum of what everything is. It's what science is saying. Consciousness is everywhere. Space is everywhere. Space is everywhere. We're just all occupying space, aren't we? All the planets are occupying space. Yeah. We just don't know how huge this is. So can we ever know this with our minds? No. But it's saying, please understand that you come from me, so eventually you're going to come back to me. You're coming back to the consciousness. Because don't forget, Arjuna is asking all these questions because he's in the middle of the battlefield. He's in the middle of the battlefield, and he doesn't understand why he has to fight this battle. All of us have battles in our life, to do or not to do. What should we say? What should we not say? Where will we go? Where won't we go? Inner battles. In our minds, it doesn't have to be with the outside world, but all of us have inner battles. And he's trying to find out why, does he have to fight this outer battle, which reflects his inner world? Why has he been given this karma? God talks to us when we look and we listen. But most of the time when something bad happens to us, we just why me, and me, and why is this happening to me, right? And we block. When that happens, we block the answers of light. The light is already there. Remember, we did in Yoga Sutras, by the practice of the 8 limbs of yoga, the impurities dwindle away, and there dawns the light of wisdom, leading to discriminative discernment. And there is the light. Purusha, that is already in you. That's exactly what he's telling Arjuna. So, and then he's trying to explain the absolute truth. The fear of all people, most people I see, is the fear of death. And I keep telling them, don't fear death. Fear that you haven't lived your life well. Fear that you fear not moving forward in your life. That's what you should fear. fear that you are too attached to things, that when there is your time to let them go, you hang on. Sometimes you have to lose everything to become alive again. It's true. I have seen so many people come to me when they literally lost their marriage, lost their health, lost everything. And guess what? Life starts for them again, new beginning. But of course, that transition time, if you don't have this understanding that, this is really just for me to learn, this is my karma, this is not a punishment. This is the physical realm. Everything is going to be gone one day, and this is training me to not be afraid of loss, because ultimately I'm going to lose my body. I should be more afraid of not living well. Yeah? So that's why he's telling Arjuna about death, because Arjuna is worried. Say, I'm fighting this war. What's going to happen to me? If you fight this war in the consciousness of divine, God has given you this war to get through it, because God knows that you're going to get through it. The divine knows you're going to get through it. That's why it's given to you. And I love Mother Teresa saying, when she says, God, I know you trust me, but sometimes don't trust me so much. And that's it. But you're trusted, you're given the battle because you're trusted to be the example of how to deal with that battle. But we cop out because it's like so much fear of loss. So much fear of loss. What have you brought that belongs to you anyway? Everything you got from here. And when you die, everything you will leave behind. Not even one piece of hair can you take with you. So what is your problem? Why are you worried? Just get on and get it done. It's more or less what he's trying to tell him. Ultimately, we're all going to die one day. Don't waste time. Don't waste energy, because the light's in you. And when all that mind is clear, then the wisdom comes up. Because you are me. You're my instrument. We're all God's instruments. And that's what he's saying there. So when he's saying, no doubt you'll come to me, is to the highest realm, beyond the realm of the gods and goddesses. You go to the place of truth. And I'll explain a little bit more as we go on, because there's a lot here. A person goes to whatever he is thinking of at the time of physical death. Arjuna, because his mind is established in that direction, therefore think of me constantly and fight for what's right. If your heart and mind are given to me, then you will surely come directly to me. So a person goes to where they are meant to go. So I've often said that you need to be really careful what your last thought is before you leave this earth, because that's where you'll go. As the mind, you leave the body, but you carry with it your soul. So if your mind's very attached to this earth, what will happen?
Stick to it.
Correct. So if you're very fearful, let's say this house, I don't want to lose my house, I don't want to lose my house. Let's say I have this attachment, which I don't. And I'm like, I don't want to lose this, and I'm dying. Oh my God, my house, my house. Guess what? I probably haunt the house for a long time. And come back and do it all over again. Wow, So, no. So, and you can't last minute. Gurudev tells a really nice story here. He talks about Lord Shiva and Goddess Parvati. In our Hindu tradition, we always have male, female. Lord Shiva, the male energy, God the Father, and Parvati, Mother Nature. Always we have, and they are married, male, female. I love that. I think that is so, because there's male, female in all of us. Shiva, Shakti, the energy that takes us to the Purusha. So anyway, God's in heaven, and Goddess Parvati is looking on earth, and there is this blind man walking, and he's chanting, Amba Shiva, Amba Shiva, Amba Shiva. And Goddess Parvati said, oh, Lord Shiva, look, there is a hole in the ground. There's a hole in the ground, and he's going to fall in that hole. He's coming towards it. He said, I can't do anything about it. If he falls, it's his karma. Oh no, how can you say that? You're God of creation. You can dissolve and you can do whatever you want. No, I cannot. This is his karma. I cannot do it. You say, but why has this karma come to this really blind man? I'm Mother Nature and I'm worried about him. Because in his last life, he had no time for disabled people. He never spent any time or cared about them. He spat at them. So this life, he became blind. Oh Lord Shiva, I know with your power you can do anything. He says, well, you're Mother Nature, you can do it yourself too. You don't have to depend on me. If you want, you can do it. No, because I can't do that. And so he said, okay, I make a deal with you, Parvati. I see you are so upset. So he's coming towards the hole. If he says Amba, which is mother, you save him. If he says Shiva, I will save him. Deal? I accept that, Lord Shiva. So they're both looking, and he's walking. Amba, Shiva, Amba. Comes to the hole. Lord Shiva looks at Goddess Parvati. Are you She goes, are you See, I couldn't do anything. It was his karma. We blame God for karma. There's no God to blame. Cause and effect. Cause and effect. And that is the story Gurudev tells here in the Gita. And I just actually absolutely love it. Because so many times in life, people say, why does, God do this to me? God doesn't do anything but love us. Really. And this is why all traditions, every single religion talks about do good and be good. Why? Because that's as you sow, you will reap. That's all. It's the law of this earth. We cannot change that law. And we are divine, so that we chose to do it because we have the only free choice we have is now. Remember we talked about the different karmas. Agami karma is now. What we do now can affect our future. So this is really important to live in, not to live in fear. You're divine, you're light, and if things go wrong, no big deal, you start again. How many times have people done it? How many times I've done it in my life? Many times. And it just makes you stronger and makes you less attached to things. And you go, well, easy come, easy go. What's the point? Why worry? And in the end, I find out so much. Give one thing away, get 10 more in return. The gods are great. If you don't fear, if you just understand the light is within us all. It is within us all. Sloka 8. If your mind is not wandering or seeking anything else, Arjuna, because you have made it steady and one-pointed through regular yoga practice, steady and one-pointed. What is practice? Effort towards steadiness of mind is practice. So if your mind is going all over the place, he's telling us very clearly, go back to keeping it steady. That is the yoga practice. You should know. Keep focused. So this is, thank you Vishnu for doing the mantras. Mantras help. Because, maybe when you're chanting a mantra at that point, the mind is going everywhere. Everything comes up and you're chanting. But the moment you stop, the mind stops and the chant continues. Have you noticed that? Is really quite cool. I remember when the first time I went to the ashram many years ago, and of course they were singing Hari Om all the time, and I was practicing my Hari Om. So everywhere I went, all I could hear is Hari Om, Hari Om, Hari Om, Hari Om, Hari Om, for months on end. I get up in the morning, Hari Om, till I got my initiated mantra, and then I kept repeating that. And now it's always there. It's always there. But you see, it just stays. It stays. So, and when that's coming, so when the negative thought comes, a fear comes of death or dying or whatever it is, then that thought takes over. it just automatically comes up in your mind. Like I said, you can choose any mantra. If you don't believe in a Sanskrit one, the other day I had a client yesterday, and he doesn't understand this. So he said, my mind's wandering and all over the place. So I said, keep it steady on one thing. So I need that, Nalanie. So I gave him some mantras. No, don't think I can do this. Okay, say this. I live an easeful, peaceful, and useful life. So took a deep breath. And he said, I live a peaceful, easeful, useful life. I said, say it again and mean it. I live a peaceful, easeful, useful life. I made him breathe in and out and say it 10 times. You know what? He opened his eyes up to 10 times. I'm going to do that. I just kept quiet. Good, that's your mantra. Because if you say anything too soon, then you go, sometimes they argue again. So, good, you found your mantra. Keep repeating it. I like it. I'm comfortable with it. You see, it made him, he could feel it. I'm going to do that from now on. I've wasted 2 years of my life not, just always complaining. I'm always complaining the last 2 years. He could hear himself now. No, we had quite a few sessions talking about mind stuff, right? So, and he finally heard himself. It's exciting, isn't it? So, yes, keep your mind steady. Keep your mind steady. Regular practice. Then when you meditate on the supreme resplendent Purusha, God or Lord, you will experience him or it. You will experience it. So if you, like for example, all day long, lie thinking good things, then everything you do, I used to sing that song, everything I do it for you. And I used to sing that to God in my head all the time, because I used to teach fashion shows, and I wasn't teaching this, I was doing choreography and fashion show. And all my songs that I chose, I was directly talking to God. Nobody knew this. It was me, but I knew it. You see, you just use God everywhere in your life. You don't separate your life from the divine. And if you're constantly not separating it, like even in extreme moments like a gate falling down on you and you're about to die, then you have nothing to worry about. You will be looked after. That's all. If you have that confidence, that vision constantly, and you can only have it if you have it all the time. So this is the yoga practice. You build it up. Nobody has to know that you're building it up. It's not important. In fact, sometimes people talk about God all the time. It's a bit sickening, isn't it? Because it's like they're trying to prove something to you, all the time. God is everywhere. You're having dinner, you can have a little chat and a joke. You don't have to be serious. Gurudev used to say to all of you people down here, so serious. When I die, we'll all be playing gods. Lord Jesus, myself, all of us, Buddha. And I said, there they go again. He did say that to us. It was so funny. I just couldn't stop laughing. So we'll all be having fun, and you're going to be so serious down there. That's not what this is about. This is about using every moment in your life, knowing it's divine. We're not ourselves. We really, like I said, if this body dies, Nalanie's dying down here, her ashes, her bones, everything's going to be here. So who am I? I have no idea. I just know I'm part of the divine. I'm on loan to Nalanie. I'm just on loan. I know I'm on loan. And there's a nice exercise that one of Gurudev's great devotees taught me, Amma. She's beautiful. She's so beautiful. And she's at the ashram. And she used to say, every morning, Nalanie, when I put my lipstick on, I'm putting my lipstick for you, God. I'm putting my makeup for you, God. And somewhere in one of Gurudev's books, I read this and I go, I'm washing God's hair. I'm washing God's hair. It's not mine, it's God's. So I have to look after it really well because it doesn't belong to me, I'm washing God's hands, not mine. It doesn't belong to me, it's on loan. And then what happens? You get get a little detached from this body, and which is what we need to do. That's all he's saying. Don't get so attached because all gonna die one day. So you better start living. Know that you're divine, you will be forever anyway. So think continuously of the knower. the origin of all, the highest king, who is more subtle than antimatter. So we think of antimatter, we think of space, and we think of, can you think beyond antimatter? You can't. We can't understand this. And yet upholds everything, whose form is beyond thought, and who is beyond darkness, and is self-effulgent, like the sun. It's light, light, light. It's so bright. 10. Who thus meditates on this resplendent and supreme Lord Purusha with devotion and a mind grown steady through yoga. Again, what is the yoga practice? Continuously reminding yourself. Yogas, chitta, vritti, nirodha. The restraint of the modification of the mind stuff is yoga. And then the seer abides in its own true nature. This is the own true nature. This is the practice. Constantly keep the mind steady. When all those crazy thoughts come, restrain. How? One practice. Stick to it. Stick to the yoga practice. Stick to the yoga practice. And Sri Patanjali gives us so many things to practice. The yamas niyama will take you, how many years to do before you, and you're at the same time you're doing your mantra, at the same time you're doing that, at the same time you're doing your breathing. But that's the yoga practice. He's lined it up for us. And he's told us, if you practice this, guess what? The wisdom will dawn in you. And even if you don't practice asana or whatever, walking, exercise, movement, this will keep you going. This will awaken the serotonin in your brain, endorphins in your body. This is scientific. We're machines, very well designed machines, I must say. Except, I think God needs a new design. It will happen, the next one. So, who thus meditates on this resplendent and supreme Lord Purusha, I've already said this, through yoga, during the time of physical death, will be able to direct all the vital energy, prana, or your prana, to the brow chakra and realize God. Without many words, I will tell you about reality. This is corroborated by those who know the essence of the Holy Scriptures. The eternal truth can be experienced by those who learn to control their minds. There you get it again. Yogas, chitta, vritti, and nirodha. Renounce all personal attachments and thirst for Brahman. Personal attachments, right? We talked about that a lot over the years. We've talked about personal. How do you know it's personal? I want this for me. I have to have this to be happy. This is mine. That personal attachment is what gets us in trouble. Nothing is mine. Everything's on loan. One day it's here, next day it's gone, next one day it's here, next day it's gone. How many people have we lost in the last 2 years? Last weekend alone, we lost 4 people that I knew really well, just in one weekend, So we're not here for long. So understand that. And be ready for when your time comes, there's no time to waste. That's if you want to be free from this crazy existence. Maybe not. Maybe you want to come back. At least if you want to come back at the moment of death, you can ask what you want to come back as. Do you know, it will only benefit you. This is the effective yoga technique. At the time of leaving the body, mentally withdraw attention from the gates of the body into the heart area. And from there, direct the prana to the head. Then say aloud or think of the sacred Om, which is the manifestation of Brahman, and you will leave the body and achieve the goal. Remember we said the word is Om, is the pranava, the highest of all sounds. It is where we come from, the vibration. But like I said, like Gurdjieff tells us the story, if you don't keep practicing it all the time, you will not say it at the moment of death. So let's say we have a mantra, Om Namah Shivaya. It starts with Om. So let's say you're just about to die. You've been saying it for all your life, and then suddenly you're about to die, go Om. You won't even have time to say anything else. And you'll go to the highest. But you will know, because of your practice, the heart is where you love, and then you bring it to the crown of your head, where they connects with the masters. So say aloud the word Om. Next one. And I like this. It is easy to reach me, Arjuna. Not difficult. All of you are doing that, right? You just forget, that's all. It's not difficult when you remember. Isn't it easy when you remember? It's so easy. So what makes us forget? We get so enwrapped in the world again. You get enwrapped without problems, and I, me, mine, and that's it, you're done. So, but it is easy to reach me for the yoga practitioner if you practice. Steady in practice, who thinks of me constantly and has no greater attachments. So, if you don't believe in God or think of love. Do everything with love. For me, God is love and peace. When I'm in love with the world and I'm at peace, I certainly feel God. And if you're in that state of mind, everything will be done with loving energy, no complaining. You don't even need to say God, because that is God. That love, that devotion, that no complaining, just acceptance. It's all divine. It's all divine. So cooking, you cook with love. Washing, you wash with love. Computer, you do with love. Although that sometimes I do forget. Then I say, I'm sorry, computer, you know. But that's what it's saying. Everything you do with that feeling, that inner feeling. It comes from deep within you, you know. And this is why Master Shivananda said, keep chanting, I'm not this body, I'm not this mind. I'm really not. Really, we're not. We're really not this body. We're really not this mind. You know, all of us have proof of that. Whether you believe in life after death or not, we're really not this body. All of us die on this, leaving this earth. And that's what he's trying to drive home to Arjuna. So please do the constant practice. See, sit it twice, 3 times. Keep the mind steady. Keep the mind steady. Do your yoga practice. Keep the mind steady. And surely it won't be difficult for you if you do that. It won't be difficult. And then 15. Those who come to me are great souls. They have so perfected themselves that it is unnecessary for them to be reborn again at this painful level of mortality. I think you all understand this, right? If you are constantly in that awareness, it won't be necessary for you to come back and learn any lesson from here, because you've already learned it from this planet. So, and this planet is a planet, there is suffering. What can we do, right? We all have to admit, as Buddha says, there is suffering. Sri Patanjali tells us, to a man or a woman of discrimination, all things are painful indeed. That's if you are attached. But if you're not attached and start to understand that this is just a short period of time, live your life beautifully, at the moment of death you will say, I did it. I played my game well. I acted well. Now I can go. You know, I've done my best. That's all you have to do. Doesn't matter the results. Remember? Do not worry about the results. Just love and do your best. That's all. Don't worry about the results. Every creature in the universe returns to nothing, Arjuna. Even Brahma, the creative function of myself. Only those who realize me transcend life and death. Whoever understands the day of Brahma and the night of Brahma, each of which lasts literally thousands of ages. In Sanskrit, it's called yugas. That person truly knows day and night. 18. As the cosmic day of Brahma dawns, all creatures rise to manifestation out of the unmanifested state. And at the coming of night, all again merge into the oneness of the unmanifested. Creation in all its infinite variety repeatedly arises, Arjuna, and naturally merges into oneness at the approach of night, then remanifests as separate from again at the dawn of another day. I'll read this one and explain. Beyond these manifested and unmanifested states, there's yet another unmanifested eternal reality, which continues forever when all else seems to perish. So here he says that he talks about the day of Brahma and the night of Brahma. And if you look at Genesis, right? And God created the world in what?
7 days.
On the seventh day, he rested, right? And here, literally, it's not 7 days. He's talking about these day and night of the Creator, Brahma. They're called yugas. According to a research I was doing in this book with Eknath Ishwaran, he says that it is considered to be, and nobody can really vouch for this, I hope I've got it here, apparently 4,200,000,000,000 odd years, which is a lot. I don't even think we want to know that number, right? So it's and we talk about dissolving, when Les talks about the age of the dinosaurs. What do you say? It's what, 65 million years ago?
65 million years ago.
When they were gone, yeah? So 65 million years. And you think we're just talking 2022. Do you see how vast and how little this time is? It's so short. It's so vast. So the yugas are different stages. And according to our Hindu scriptures, it explains this. And science is now saying exactly the same thing. That the universe, it's expanding and contracting constantly. In fact, they're saying now that they were thinking that the galaxies were expanding, but the new science, I was reading somewhere the other day, says that no, it's actually contracting again. They got it wrong. It's actually contracting. Galaxies are leaving. So, and the easy way it's explained in the Hindu scriptures is Vishnu, that beyond the manifested, Vishnu, nobody understands Vishnu. It's because it's beyond everything, sleeps. And when he dreams and takes a deep breath, everything opens up again. And there comes Brahma becomes alive. That's the creator becomes alive. And in Brahma, we are all created. We become alive. And when we become alive, we become part of the Brahma and we play. And so the action is, and this is why we have the mantra, Guru Brahma, Guru Vishnu, Guru Devo Maheshwara. The Guru creates, the Guru preserves, the Guru dissolves the universe. The Guru, in fact, is absolute. Salutations to the Satguru. So that Guru they're talking about is beyond space and time as we know it, the unmanifest. And that Guru is within all of us, every single person. But we think it's always somebody else who's going to save us. But it's our own actions that are going to save us. And this is why all the scriptures teach us what to do in order to save ourselves. But we don't listen because we don't believe it. And I'm not saying it. Gita is saying it. Sutra is saying it. Jesus is saying it. All the great saints, Buddha is saying it. In fact, he says there's nothingness. Right? Talking about the consciousness. Nothingness. And in that nothingness is everything. How do we even understand that with the mind? Not possible. This is why the yoga practice is the experience. This is why how to behave yama niyama with humanity. This is the yoga practice, because this is where we are. And when we do that, our karma is enriched. Karma is enriched. And we go to that point of being free. Gita, Ula's asked a question. What if we die suddenly in an accident, a heart attack or similar? No time to mention what you believe in. Or if we die with dementia, with a confused mind, does it mean we don't come to that realm we believe in? Now this is a very interesting question, Gita. In an accident, most people, well, depends. If somebody's been, like Gandhi was just suddenly shot, right? What did he say? Oh God. At his moment of death. I think when you're suddenly at that point and you suddenly die, if you're practicing something for a long time, automatically you will say the first thing that comes. Many saints and sages have died suddenly, and they, for example, Ramdas, his mantra was Rama, 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 Rama. So he was very sick, and at the last moment it was Rama. Do you know? So if it's sudden, what happens is you are protected. Okay, I look at my mother. I'll give you an example of my mother, Gita. My mother is suffering from dementia for many, many years. Her practice every morning is praying in the prayer room. Every single morning, without missing it. And my sister is right here, Pooja Kantu, and she will tell you this. My mother is a very traditional Hindu, but her incredible faith in God, her incredible faith in, her God, has really seen her through this time. She's got dementia. I call her on the phone. Yesterday I called her, I told you, she even remembered me. She actually said, Nalanie, I'm alone, I miss you. First time. Normally she doesn't even remember me. And then she starts praying. She said, in Hindi, which I don't speak, or Guru, what is the language called, Kantu? Do you know the
Gurbani?
The Gurbani, yes. She knows it by heart. So she's been reading it for years, morning and night, and that's praying all night. And her nurse said, ma'am, don't talk to her too much about God, because she stays up all night and she won't sleep and she's praying the whole night. So about dementia, she may not remember the people that come in. She sees my son and she goes, who are you, in Hong Kong? But she starts praying. So by her practice, she's saved. She's definitely going somewhere great. That's all she does all night long. The nurse says sometimes she gets up and she's chanting the whole night long. It's her practice. But so dementia, yes, as you practice, so you become. And I really believe if you practice so much, this is what's happened. My mother is such a good example to me. Really, she just prays all the time. And she's so peaceful. Most people in dementia, they get very angry, they get rude, they swear. I don't know if you know that, but many kids who have parents with dementia get very hurt because their parents can be very rude to them. And my mom, she's so peaceful. And she had a temper when she was young. My mother had a very bad temper. So the prayers transformed her personality. Thank you, Mom, for doing all that so I can explain to Gita this question. Otherwise I wouldn't know. So, and the confused mind, the same. If a person is very confused but done the practice all its life, the mind is sick, but the light is bright. It's bright. The mind is sick. The mind is an instrument. But if the heart is full of love, that will take over. So, I'd just like to finish these few. The unmanifested reality, which is infinite and indestructible, is my very nature. It is the supreme goal. The one who realized this has come home, abides with me, and never again return to separateness. Wow, what a lovely promise. So just abide in, we're living in that divine, live in it, be in that bubble. Yeah. You can experience the highest of states, Arjuna, with steady, again, he's telling, how many times is he repeating this, okay? Do you see? Steady, one-pointed devotion. Fill your heart with devotion. Love whatever comes to you. Just be grateful you have breath. Be grateful for every day because you don't belong to you. One-pointed devotion to the Supreme One, in whom all creation exists and who pervades all beings. Again and again, he's reminding us, the light is within us. So abide in that light, live in that light, be in that light. Now he says, noble Arjuna, now I will tell you of the two paths of the soul at the time of physical death. One leads to rebirth, the other to liberation. If a yogi who knows reality leaves his body during the 6 months of the northern passage of the sun, which is the path of light, fire, day, and bright 2 weeks of the moon, he goes directly to Brahman. I'm going to read this and then explain it, okay? If a yogi leaves the body during the 6 months of the southern passage of the sun, which is the path of haze, night, and the dark 2 weeks of the moon, his soul passes through the light of the moon to physical rebirth. These two paths of light and dark continue forever in this world. One leads to liberation, the other to rebirth. So you see, you have many chances. If you want to come back, you will. Anyone who understands these two paths will never again be deluded. If you persevere in your study and practice of yoga, do you see, again and again, if you persevere, Arjuna, you will attain this understanding. So Gita, you persevere, you will attain. Don't worry about it. Certainly, there are many benefits from scriptural study, selfless service, accepting austerity, and charitable giving. Sure, there's many benefits. But if you practice yoga and understand light and the dark, you rise beyond all merit and attain the supreme and original abode. So it's not what you do ultimately, it's how you experience the divine in your life. And of course, if you experience the divine in your life and fill it with love and peace, what you do will be love and peace. So he's saying, it's not, you don't have to do all these things to get attention. Yes, it's good. Of course it's good. We'll come to this work. We should do good. But it's not what that's going to get you there. It's the constant awareness of who you are. And I'll just explain because of the passage and then we'll finish. Thus ends chapter 8, the yoga of the absolute truth. Absolute truth. So, no, we're all going to die. So how you want to live. All right, and here I found a very nice explanation about the northern moon and the southern, because I was thinking this must be astrology. I'm not an astrologist, I don't understand this, but I found it in this book. Those who know this, who meditate upon truth with faith, go to the light. From light to day, from day to the fortnight of the womb's waxing. From the waxing fortnight to the 6 months of the sun's northern journey. From those 6 months to the world of the gods and the goddesses. And from the world of the gods to the sun. From the sun to lightning. Then a spirit approaches them and leads them to the world of Brahman. In that world, they live for eternal ages. They do not return again. But those who conquer worlds through sacrifice, charity, austerity, pass into smoke. From smoke into the night, from the night into the fortnight of the waning moon, from the fortnight of the waning moon into the 6 months of the sun's southern journey, from there into the world of ancestors, from the world of the ancestors into the moon, and from there to rebirth. Perhaps it is a belief of very ancient times that's found its way into these Upanishads, which say that the spiritually ready soul makes the journey of the northern route, while those who have only practiced rituals take the southern one. So he's not saying, he's just saying, he wants people to realize it's not what you do, it's who you are. And he said, many people who do rituals, and we have them in India, they do, all the priests that do all the rituals, we see this all the time, and the very next minute, give me money, otherwise I don't pray for your father. I mean, it's happened to me so many times in India, it's not funny, and so he's talking about those people, and many people give charity, but they give charity just for ego, right? They want people to recognize, oh look, I'm so wonderful. Or they do good deeds because they want something in return. So he's just saying that doesn't count. What counts is really that you abide in this feeling of love and God. So with that we finish, and that's what it's talking about right there. So simply, as Master Shivananda would say, do good, be good, stop complaining, please. Make decisions quickly. If you constantly fluctuate, should I, shouldn't I? Do it. What's the worst that can happen? It's worse if you just stay at the edge all your life. How sad is that? Trust. And Helen brought it up, Gurudev's favorites, one of my favorite sayings of Gurudev's. Trust in God and fear do not go together. So sometimes you can feel the fear, but just trust and say, I know I'm safe. Let the fear just make its confused noise, but I trust. Do you see? And Gita, that's how you explain the confused mind, right? Sometimes it's mental. Should I? I'm scared. No, but doesn't matter. I'm going ahead. I trust. I trust. And that's what it's talking about. You don't let the fear envelop you, that you get to a state of living hell on earth. That's not what we are all about. The hell is not created by any God but ourselves. And the sooner you realize that, the sooner you'll be free and happy.